Back here, first things first, we are going viral. Drew Brees had the Saints offense rolling against the Falcons, throwing for 4 touchdowns in the 31-17 win. So how do you celebrate a 10-game win streak on Thanksgiving? By eating turkey.
It's not sense. Oh, Lord. Look at the detail. Yes, Lord. Oh, and the Lord said, God is good. Dirty Bird was on the menu.
Daddy Drew.
I got a controversial take for you, see.
Go ahead.
Turkey, delicious.
Yes.
But turkey legs, wildly overrated.
Oh no, man! You gotta get the turkey leg because it has the most moisture. It's the dark meat.
Weird take.
Nah. Turkey legs, like you feel like you're at one of those like medieval times, Renaissance fair, like type thing. Walk around.
But you have to carve it up.
Savage.
You have to carve it up because it's a little bony, little cartilage and everything.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's the worst part of the turkey. Fried turkey wing. Give it to me. A little breast meat with some gravy, no problem. Some giblets in the middle, maybe a little gizzard, no problem. The leg. Come on, man.
I'm really shocked by you.
Why? Why are you shocked? Go ahead. Or should you pull it back?
I mean, that's the only thing white you like.
Oh, God.
I mean, dude like his coffee straight black. I don't want no cream, don't want no sugar. Just bring it to me hot and black. If anybody watched the show, you're a fan, social media, you know. Hey, man, I like my wife just like my coffee, bro. I want it hot, I want it black.
My wife, my coffee, and my quarterbacks.
And every once in a while, I want it to be a little spicy.
Okay.
Now you're on the turkey, on the white meat, the dry part.
Okay.
No, that's not you. That's not your brand, Nick.
Okay.
Get you a leg off in your life, dog.
Okay.
Quietly, I'm going to bring in a few stories to start your morning. Falcons fell to the Saints. We just saw the turkey. 31-17 yesterday. They had no answer for Drew Brees. Brees threw for 4 touchdowns. Matt Ryan on the other side, and that offense turned the ball over 4 times. Atlanta now eliminated in the NFC South. Nick, how disappointing has this season been for the Falcons?
Man, injuries and coulda, woulda, shoulda games. For week 1 of the season, 1st and goal from the 9, down 6, hold that L. Couple weeks later, overtime against this New Orleans team, hold that L. Next week, Cincinnati, a lead with 30 seconds left, hold that L. Like that, compounded by the injuries, that ruins the season.
And no one after their season has come up short of their expectations, going to say, hey, you know, the injuries. But it's a real excuse for certain teams. A lot of teams will face injuries. They will try to overcome, but there will be a handful of good football teams, good organizations, well coached, that they will not be able to overcome them. And that's who the Atlanta Falcons are.
Yep. All right, on to the Bears and Lions. Chicago's defense coming up big once again, intercepting Matt Stafford twice, including a pick 6. Bears win 23-16 to improve to 8-3. CC, is it time to start taking Chicago seriously as Super Bowl contenders, though?
You better take them serious, Jenna. Even the Super Bowl. I like the Bears. I like how they've matched their defense. It's just not only their personnel, but it's what type of speed they have, how many pass rushers they have, and their ability to be able to make plays on the back end. That's what makes defenses very, very special. You can only hit the quarterback so many times. But if you can make some turnovers, give your offense extra possessions, yes, take the Bears serious.
See, you're starting to come to my side of things on Matt Stafford. Like Matt Stafford, gaudy numbers.
I try to be nice, though.
I try to be nice. When you got that contract, you're like, stop counting another man's money. I said, man, it's a hard cap sport. You can't win games paying Matt Stafford $30 million. Team mediocre to bad again. Come on, Matt Stafford. I know that pick's not his fault, but the pick 6.
You know that was the wide receiver.
We'll be into that. Is it better? Washington taking on Dallas for a Thanksgiving throwdown. Chris Carter and Amari said Amari Cooper would be the X factor. Chris was right, but I played Amari Cooper on my fantasy team last night, so I was right too. I was actually righter than Chris was. Yep. Cooper finally had his Cowboy breakout game, finishing with 8 catches, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On a much related note, the Cowboys won 31-23. They join Washington now atop the division. Here is Amari Cooper on his new team's recent success.
And I've just been putting in extra time with my coaches, with Dak. We sit right by each other in the meeting room, and just trying to catch up and be on the same page. And, for some reason, since I got here, the chemistry between me and Dak has been phenomenal.
There's no question he's added a spark, and that's almost trite when you see that kind of spark. But when he's leaving, there's no question about it. So that's big for us, and I'm so pleased with the way he's focused in, the way he's really getting in here and absorbing what we need him to do offensively, because he's on any down, he's capable of making the big play.
All right, CeCe, I know it's a small sample size, but from what you saw last night, and if that carries into the next couple of weeks, did Amari Cooper prove he was worth that first-round pick?
Definitely. That's what he's got to prove. He took a huge step last night from a confidence standpoint, because a lot of sports it has to do with rhythm. Can you catch a rhythm? Can you keep someone else out of rhythm? And ultimately, confidence. Because pro sports, historically, man, they crush your confidence. When you look for people that, why are they struggling? Man, you lose your confidence. It's not as if you lose ability. Now, you might get injured. You might have some setbacks, things like that. But for the most part, you lose your confidence, and it prevents you from doing the things that typically you've been very, very successful at doing. So that's what I saw yesterday in Amari Cooper. Absent of what the real numbers were, as far as number of catches, number of targets, number of yards, 120 yards after the catch, those types of things, I saw a guy that had his confidence back. When he was a young player in the NFL, tremendous confidence. When he stepped onto the University of Alabama campus, was a starter immediately. Tremendous amount of confidence, and Nick Saban was able to get the best out of him. That's the first time I've seen that in a couple years. So that's what I was very, very happy to be able to see. Get his confidence back. He's been spending the time. He paid dividends in this game, and I believe the rest of the season you will see him make big plays, because he had over a 200-yard game with the Raiders. He got 180 yards in this game. You don't have those types of games in the NFL and not be a big-time talent. So now it's up to the Cowboys to expand on it. Scott Lanahan, how do we grow this offense? Because you're still going to get 7, 8-man boxes, but that's what you see. If you put all those guys in the line of scrimmage, if one guy misses a tackle in the secondary, the guy can finish with a big play, and Amari showed that he has more than enough of that ability.
And I want you to show the audience in just a moment what exactly happened on those 2 touchdowns. But before we do that, I want, if people were in their post-turkey coma yesterday, to understand this context of these touchdowns. Washington had just taken the lead. Washington had just had a 3-play touchdown drive after the Cowboys go 3 and out to go up 13-10. The Cowboys are facing a 3rd and 2 outside of Brett Maher's field goal range. That's when Amari Cooper bust off the 40-yard touchdown. Cowboys then force a punt, but it's a great punt. They're backed up inside their own 10. And 2nd and 9 from the 10. Amari busts off the 90-yard touchdown run. And all of a sudden, a 13-10 Washington lead becomes a 24-13 Dallas lead. And the entire context of the NFC East is flipped on its head. Here's the first one. What's happening here, Steve?
He runs a smash route. They have a slant, flat route. Supposed to be a 7, 8-yard catch, maybe get 10 yards. During man-to-man, guy slips. He runs away with it and finishes the play. He does have elite closing speed. He's always had very, very good hands. Struggled with some of that in Oakland, but that's what you get when you have someone like Zeke in the backfield. There's not a lot of guys. There's too much space on the field when you have a guy like that. So the overall threat of that, and to have those people close to the line of scrimmage, that's the end result when you have an explosive player.
So that's a 3rd and 2 play where they're running that play to pick up the first down.
Yes.
They're not running that play to try to have some big play. So what about the other one? It's 2nd and 9 on their own 10-yard line. They now have a lead. Tell me what's happening in this play here.
Yeah, they're playing a very conservative defense, 2-man, where they're going to man underneath. The safeties are going to be wide. He runs a seam route. Dak makes a risky, but a throw that him and the wide receiver, they should be able to make. Throws it right over the DB's head. 2 safeties should converge on it for the stop right there for a 25-yard gain, but because he's an elusive runner and he's got bigger size than people, he's hard to get on the ground. You can see the running ability that makes him a difference maker. Now, Michael Thomas, another very, very good receiver. He catches that. He might get 5 or 6 yards after that, but he doesn't have that finishing ability to be able to finish it at the end. But it's the tale of 2 seasons for Amari since he's been at the Dallas Cowboys, which is enough sample size. This was game number 4, and in 6 games with the Oakland Raiders, you can see the receptions about the same. Yardage, you can see he's taking that lead, but those 3 touchdowns in 4 games, now it's up to Scott Linehan. It's up to the rest of that offense to be able to build upon this, to be able to add more explosive plays, get him in routes where he can catch the ball on the run, because that's one of the things that he really does well. He reminds me of a guy who played in the league, who I tried to compare Amari to when he coming into the league, Torrey Holt. Very good route runner, very, very mature guy as a football player, and understated. Very, very good in the locker room, and his teammates love him. I see the comparisons in Amari that I saw in Torrey Holt.
And one stat that wasn't on that graphic, but is a very important one: 0 drops with the Dallas Cowboys after over the last year and a half in Oakland that had really all of a sudden become a bugaboo for him. 0 drops with the Cowboys. The two biggest plays that have been made in the NFC East this season were those 2 Amari Cooper touchdowns. They flipped the division, and so we'd been waiting for it. We knew the talent was there. Chris, known him since high school, can't figure out quite what was wrong the last 20-some-odd games. Hopefully this is a step continued to the old Amari Cooper coming back.
All right, we got to take a break. I'm exhausted. I need a drink of water or something.
Jenna wanted to break down the tape.
Coming up, it was a seam route, times 7.
Smash route.
4, smash route with seams. Have the Saints officially put the rest of the NFL on notice? Look who's laughing, Mr. Nichols. Next on First Things First.
Go ahead, Mr.
Get out of here. Get out of here.